Hello crafty friends, welcome to another white paper scraps video. Today I've selected my white paper scraps that are in strip form and I'm going to make some strips in different colours. I've selected some distress oxides to give me some nice opaque colour. I've got abandoned coral, saltwater taffy, uncharted mariner and salvage patina, and I've also got some tattered rose. I haven't got an ink pad for this, so I've just got the re-inker and I'll use that. I will be throwing in some gold as well. I think I'll do a short strip and a long strip in each colour. I think that will give me enough. I'm going to slice that into two, so I've got two of those, and I'll just do, for the tea dye, two medium length strips. I'll start with my saltwater taffy, the lighter of the pinks, and then I can use this brush for the abandoned coral. And I've put these on a grip mat just to stop them flying around my craft room. So all I'm doing is loading up my brush, brushing it on and trying to get a solid, even colour. Basically converting these into solid coloured card. So now I can use this same brush without cleaning it with the abandoned coral because it's a more saturated colour. If I were to do the abandoned coral first and then go into the saltwater taffy, I might end up with abandoned coral masking my saltwater taffy. Now for some salvage patina and some uncharted mariner. This is the boldest, darkest, most saturated colour of all the colours I'm going to use today. So this is really going to draw the eye in whatever design I do. So with these Distress Oxide re-inkers, you need to give them a really good shake to get everything to combine. There's a little ball bearing in there that you can hear when you shake it, and that should get everything nicely combined. And I seem to have managed to not put the lid on properly. So make sure you put the lid on properly. I'll just add a little blob there and pick it up with my sponge dauber and sponge it on. You can probably just put a few dots on your paper and just sponge it around. This is going to be my lightest colour. It's almost a neutral, and I love these two colours together. They give me real Art Deco vibes. Before I do anything else to these, I'm going to give them a blast with my hairdryer. Distress Oxides are a hybrid ink of pigment and dye ink. Pigment inks tend to sit on top of the paper and take longer to dry. Dye inks soak in and dry more quickly, but because there's pigment ink in here, it could take a while to dry, so I'm going to give them a blast. Before I do anything else, I want to stamp some detail on this Uncharted Mariner cardstock. So I'll tape these two down together so they can be one piece. And I'm going to use my corner positioner as a fake wall to get this lined up because I want space all the way around it, but if it moves I want to be able to move it back. I'm going to give this a dust with corn flour, and this should hopefully mop up any remaining moisture, grease, static, and allow me to stamp in embossing ink and get my embossing powder to stick only where I want it. I might do that again. I'll link this up with embossing ink. And I'll stamp that and give it a gentle but firm press with my press tool. Yep, that looks good. So I think I will carefully move my flower down here. What I can do is I can put a sheet of acetate here or stick my flower to a sheet of acetate and then place this where I want it and pick it up, and that keeps this clean while I'm doing the positioning. That looks pretty good, maybe a little bit down here. And now I'll sprinkle over some gold embossing powder. This is polished gold, super fine from Wow. So it has a nice shine to it and it's very fine, so I'll pick up all the details. There's a few speckles of extra powder which I can brush off. And now I'll heat that with my heat tool. And I'm just going to repeat that process so that I can add a bit more stamping here in this gap, but then I think that might be it. I could squeeze a bit in there and maybe down there, but I don't think I'm going to need that much. Now that has cooled and set, I'll just go over it with a clean microfiber cloth to buff off any excess talcum powder. And this is really going to be the star of the show now. Okay, now it's time for some die cutting. I'm going to die cut these strips with this wider die. The strips are about 1 centimetre wide. The shorter strips I'm going to cut with this strip die. It's about 5 millimetres, 1/4 inch wide. I've got an even skinnier one, which is 1/8 inch, I think, the strips. I might cut these in white, which I'll then heat emboss in gold, or I might keep them white, but we'll just see how I feel. So I covered this piece of hammered textured white cardstock with embossing ink and polished gold embossing powder. It's a little bit patchy in places, so I'm going to do another go. So that's cooled and set now, and you can see the hammered texture of the cardstock still visible through the heat embossing. I've got 4 stitched rectangle panels here, and I'm going to use sticky adhesive, double-sided sticky adhesive sheets to add some sticky onto my panels. I'm going to do this one at an angle. And I'm going to find a nice big chunk of this blue one. I can just wipe off any struggly hair bits and pop this on somewhere like that and make that the start of the show. I'm going to put a white one next, and then a skinny pink one. Then I'm going to go for a medium saltwater taffy. Up here we'll have a skinny salvage patina, then a strip of gold, and a wide abandoned coral, and then just fill in maybe another white one like that. And then I'm just going to roughly chop off the overhang, and I will neaten that up with a guillotine in a little while when they're all ready. But I rather like that. On this one I'm going to put a strip of sticky towards the middle. I've added a bit of glue to this because I've run out of sticky on here. A bit of saltwater taffy above and below. So with this one, I've got 2 strips of the blue and gold decorative paper, a bit of saltwater taffy in the middle, some white either side. I think it is slightly wonky, but never mind. I was thinking one of these short strips. Just want to get the ends neat. Bevel them with my edge beveling tool so they look as if they've been cut with a die. Add some glue to the back of that, and then place that in the middle-ish here. So I'm going to make sure these are all trimmed nicely. Just use my guillotine to cut off any remaining overhang. For the sentiments, I'm going to heat emboss some happy birthdays onto vellum. So I've got those there. They're all quite big and chunky. I'll give this a good dusting. This is heat resistant vellum, so it will handle heat embossing just fine. So I've inked that up with embossing ink. I'll gently press these down. Right, these are now ready for die cutting and they're looking gorgeous. Because this is vellum, I can see through it to the cut lines of the die, which means I can get this lined up pretty darn perfectly. I've got a bit of sticky there to hold it in place, and I'll run that through on my die cutting machine. So I'm going to stick these onto the front of my card now. This one will fit through my Xyron sticker maker. So now it's sticky all over the back, which means you won't see the adhesive. And I'm going to stick that on here, sort of in the middle. This one has also gone through the sticker maker, so I'm going to pop that on the middle there. I'm going to need a little bit of glue just to hold the bottom of the Y down, and I'll use this Zig two-way glue pen. It's pretty good for vellum. With this one, I'm going to draw on the back in this Zig two-way glue pen, and I'm going to hide it behind the letters. So I'm going to place this down here so it doesn't cover up too much of this detail. And I'll pop a little acrylic block on there to help it stay still while it dries. And then I'll do the same with this one. This one can go here, overlapping in the middle again. And there you have 4 cards made using colourful strips created from white scraps. I hope you like the cards, I hope you like the video, and it's given you some ideas of things you can do with your own white scraps. If it has, do let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you back here very soon for another video. Thanks for watching, bye for now.